Hey guys, your mental health awareness is back. Today we are joined with Matt. He's out in Colorado, if I remember correctly. You can follow him. We found each other on Instagram. His Instagram handle, just so you guys know, Chronically Mindful Matt. He is joining me today for a quick little session. Just give us a little bit of his story, so that way we can take away and show you guys we're here. We're all in this together, right? Nobody's alone. So you're a strong person for being able to share your story. So Matt, welcome to YMHA, and thanks for visiting with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, let's kind of get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I grew up in kind of a broken home. My parents were divorced. They divorced whenever I was 4, so I don't really remember much of that. And then I lived back and forth between my mom and dad in Alabama and Florida, and my mom was a very bad alcoholic. So it was a very mentally abusive relationship with my mom. And I went for years with that, going back and forth with my mom and dad. And it was mentally wrecking me, all the stuff that my mom was doing, because it was like I felt because I was a parent child to an adult was what I was. And I mean, there was many times I'd have to like take care of me and my little brother whenever I was a kid. I'd come in and my mom would be passed out drunk on the floor and stuff like that, and I'd have to make dinner for us. So I had to go into survival mode to figure out how to live. And so I did this for years. And while this was all going on, my mom, she continued to keep drinking. She like lost her career and everything. She was a occupational therapist at one time. And then she was hit by a car once while she was walking across the road. So she was drinking at a bar, and the bar was supposed to call her a taxi, but I don't know exactly what happened. And we lived in these apartments right across the street, but it was a bit like a really busy highway. So she walked across it and got hit by a car going 55 miles per hour.
Oh, wow.
While she was drinking. So she had a metal rod in her leg. This didn't stop her from drinking. And like all of this did, I mean, this like rubbed into so many things in my life. Like, and I'm realizing it now as I get older, all the things that my mom did when I was younger go into my adulthood and everything that I do and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely stays with you, and it's
Yeah.
not something you don't get over it so easily, right? You hear people say, "Oh, it's okay, it's your childhood, get past it," and the truth is, we don't just get past it. We live it, and it's part of our memory, it's part of our history, it's part of our upbringing. So, unfortunately for you, you had that now. So, I just want to make sure that I understand correctly. This started at a young age. This wasn't something that started when you were in your teens. This was
Yeah,
when you were younger.
it started, I think my mom had a short period of time where she was sober right after I was born, maybe up to about I was 6 or 7. And my brother was born whenever I was 8. And then from there, it just went downhill.
Just spiraled. So, oh
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
So Matt, we were able to talk, through social media. That's how you and I were connected. You obviously are going through different things, right? Everybody's got something they're going through that we don't know, another person doesn't know about. And,
Right.
so for you, I know, obviously, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being here. We're here to support everybody and each other, because that's what's going to get us through anything we're battling. So,
Definitely.
so for the people that are watching this, they don't know a whole lot about you. You and I have had some conversations, again, via social media, but you had told me that you were in the Navy. You're a military person.
Correct.
Okay. So you served about 5.5, almost 6, just shy of 6 years, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, well, first and foremost, thank you for your service to the country. We truly appreciate everything you and your brothers and
Thank
sisters
you.
in arms have done for us. So, if you don't mind, let's kind of talk a little bit about, you were in the Navy, you're no longer there, obviously, but
Yep.
you yourself, you said you had mentioned your mother, an alcoholic. very mentally abusive, obviously, and that's not something. Let's be honest, no child should ever have to go through that, and
Right.
especially when they have a younger sibling. You're not to be the parent. Your job is to be the child.
Yeah.
So but I think that we come out the other end stronger. All right.
Right.
It looks like you have, and, so congratulations with that. Um,
Thank you.
what kind of negative, if any negative, obviously this is mental health related, you know, you have good days and bad, right? You had mentioned this carried into your adulthood. So,
Yeah.
so when you have a bad day, right, or you're in a bad mood, a depressive mood, anxious, whatever, how do
Right.
how do you find yourself acting? There things that lead up to that event that are triggers, or do you find certain actions kind of taking place prior to those moods coming on?
Um, with me, sometimes I do have triggers. Sometimes I have a lot of social anxiety. Like
Okay.
social anxiety is like a very very big one. If I go to talk on the phone now, like talking on the phone, I can't listen to voicemails. Voicemails like traumatize me because
Okay.
my mom used to call and leave these voicemails that were drunk at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it traumatized me from listening to voicemails. So
Yeah.
I'll have voicemails that will stay on there for weeks that I should probably listen to, but I like
Right.
have so much PTSD to it.
Right. It's a real
So
thing. So,
yeah,
so what happens? Let's say you feel this mood coming on, right? And we all have it. We're all entitled to it. It's not just something we can. And I say entitled, I use that word very inappropriately and incorrectly, but for lack of a better word, right? We all go through periods of time where we're depressed, we're anxious, we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, whatever it may be. Right? Mentally, we're exhausted. So when you get to that stage yourself, you know, do you find yourself trying to become a little bit more positive and think about the positives that are going on in life, or are you kind of just relying and really feeding that negative energy? What are your actions like at that time?
I I do. I try to focus on more of the positive things. Like I struggle with depression that will just onset out of nowhere, and I've started finding really healthy ways of using meditation and breath work on
Oh wow,
days that
okay.
I know that like I feel extremely down, rather than me feeling down about this day and then it rolling into the next day and then it rolling into a week, into a month. I
Mhm.
can just do breath work or meditate for part of the day, and it really helps hold me over like quite
Good.
a bit.
And
And
so now,
and it,
so let me ask you this: you said meditate, breathing techniques. It
mm,
helps. It helps kind of hold you over and kind of keep you from going down that road of it being several days or extended times. Does
right.
it, obviously I'm going to assume, and I'm assuming it's just correct, it doesn't pull you out of that mood immediately, but it helps get you back up.
It does, exactly.
Okay.
It doesn't like pull me, it's not like a magic switch and it just kicks me right out of it. But
Mm,
it's a little bit of it's a relief because I've been meditating and doing breath work for a little over a year now. I get into it
okay.
because of my chronic illness. And it's something I found that when all else fails, I have this happy spot to go to. It doesn't necessarily like I can stop breathing or meditating and I'll still have it there, but it'll pull me through until the next day.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's good. So you're finding positive things to bring back positive energy. So
Exactly.
so let me ask you: would you agree? My partners and I, we all talk about it. My panelists, we all talk about it. That you have to keep your mind somewhat busy to avoid these negative attacks and block out
Right.
negative energy. But do you agree that there are times that, look, I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious, I'm not sad, I'm just tired. I just want to relax. I want to veg out, kind of do nothing, and I'm fine. You're perfectly fine. Do
Yeah.
you personally, you see anything wrong with that?
No, no, no. I mean, you should be able to have those times as well
Right.
where you're just able to let go and just watch TV and do whatever.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the thing, right? We all kind of see somebody, oh, they don't want to leave the house, they're depressed. When in actuality, it's, we're constantly going, right? So you said
Yeah.
yourself, you battle with depression.
Yeah.
So we're constantly on the move. There's just that time where you just like, hey, I want to sit down, I want to play video games, I want to watch TV. I want to do nothing but sit here, watch some TV. and turn my brain off, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
Yeah.
you mentioned you have a chronic illness. Let's not get too deep into that.
Mm.
Health wise, obviously, illness and your upbringing, everything plays a big part into mental health.
Mm.
So, what would you say, and again, you don't have to divulge any sensitive or personal information, please, by all means, don't, if you're not comfortable with that, that's never what we're looking for. And before you continue, I just got a message. So, we want to remind viewers, so Matt, as you're talking to everybody and we're talking about these things, remember that we are not licensed medical professionals. We're not
Okay.
physicians of any kind, right? So this is not to be construed or taken as medical advice of any kind. If you are experiencing an emergency, you are to contact 911 immediately. So we want to make sure that that's out there, because we're talking about, you talked about meditation, you talked about breathing techniques. So we don't want our viewers going
Right.
out there thinking, oh, that's the end all be all, that's going to work. That's just what
Yeah.
works for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you tend to be on the same side with us, as you have to find something that works for you, right? Everything's going to be different.
Definitely.
Okay.
It's for every person. It's definitely different. Like my partner, meditation and breathing isn't necessarily as much her thing, and she struggles with anxiety and stuff. But
Okay.
she does other healthy things like getting out in nature and stuff.
Okay. So everybody's different, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. We have to find what works.
Yeah.
So, so what I kind of want to talk about, shifting gears just a little bit here, um, you know, we're going to be conscious of your time, and we thank you for coming on, because I know you're clear across the country from where we are here in sunny South Florida, where you guys are getting ready to experience fall, and we're just experiencing, hot.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
hurricanes. So, tell us a little bit, not too in depth, not, don't be too specific. You don't have to be. If you don't mind, you mentioned a few minutes ago your chronic illness kind of takes a toll. Uh,
Yeah.
and that plays in, I'm assuming, with your upbringing, obviously, and your mental health as well. Do you mind talking a little bit about what that chronic illness, how that affects you?
Yeah. So I mean, it affects me daily. It's called chronic inflammation response syndrome, and I have two genes that I can't break down biotoxins. So there in America, 50% of the buildings are water damaged. So my body reacts to 50% of the buildings in America, and it makes me hurt really bad and go into extreme inflammation. It makes my
Okay.
thinking, like my cognitive, really bad. It can cause so many different symptoms. And every single day I deal with it. We even had to make a clean room at my house so that we can like take off our clothes before we walk through the house,
Oh,
so that
wow.
we don't bring it into the house. Yeah, it's like that serious.
Wow.
So
So obviously you have to be very conscious and aware of your surroundings and where you're going, and, whenever you do anything.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
so thank you for sharing that. One of the things that I do want to offer, to you, Matt, is, obviously stay connected. We're going to stay connected on Instagram. I'm happy that you reached out, when we first started this company and our movement, because I think we're all on the same page, right? Mental health is real. People want to downplay it, and it's the stigma that's been positioned.
Yeah.
And we got to work to get rid of that stigma, right? For me, I couldn't care less. Because I don't care what your mental issue, what your mental illness may be. Fact of the matter is that you just want somebody there with you, right?
Right.
Whether it's somebody to listen, whether it's somebody to offer advice. A lot of times it's like we just want to be heard, or we want to feel like we've been heard,
Yeah.
and that's it. So what I do want to offer to you, Matt, so thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking to us a little bit about yourself, your childhood and your upbringing, and how that's really played a big part in your life as you've gotten older and into adulthood. What I want to offer to you is I want to offer you to come back on when you're comfortable, whenever you have free time, and sit with myself and some of our panelists that we have on. Our panelists are regulars; they're on every week with me, and kind of just talk with us. And because the idea is we want to share tips that work for us, as well as tips that work, things that work for you, right? I think
Okay.
everybody has something to share, and we can
Yeah.
all learn from each other. So, that's an open invite to you, Matt. Anytime you want to join, you reach out to me. We'll happily get you onto one of our episodes here. But before we wrap up, if you could say, leave everybody with one big thought, like kind of that profound moment or that light bulb moment, we'll call it, when it comes to mental health, what would you say that is, regardless of what it's about? What would you say that light bulb moment would be for you?
The light bulb moment for me was working on my problems that were within myself. Because until I did that, they stayed stuck there, and they don't go away. They stay with you everywhere you go.
Right. So there you go, guys. You're hearing it from all of us. It's not just myself and our other panelists saying you got to work on yourself. Here you have Matt. He's coming on, telling you about his struggles and what he's going through, and he's coming out the other end stronger than ever. So, kudos to you. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us today. Guys, this is going to be posted all over our social media. We'll get it up on our YouTube, Your Mental Health Awareness. If you haven't checked it out, we'll throw the link up there. We'll get it onto Instagram as well, hopefully. Matt, I will send you a copy. Feel free to post it onto your Instagram, share it.
Okay.
And then for anybody who hasn't seen yet, our Facebook page, at the advice and a long talk with our board of directors, we actually changed it now. We are using the acronym YMHA. So you can find us on Facebook. Just type in at YMHA 2020 and our page will pop up. But other than that, Matt, is there anything you want to leave us with? Any other thoughts that you want to close us out with?
I would say you have to work on your mental health, because it doesn't work on itself. That's really the main thing. It stays there, and those problems stay with you until you focus on them.
There you go. I couldn't agree more. Guys, Matt, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll get all this up there. I'll send out everything to everyone here. But guys, take care. Thanks for joining us today. Matt, thank you. Best of luck to you as you go through everything you have to deal with in life, just like the rest of us. But you're coming out the other end stronger. We're happy to see you.
Thank you.